the boldest, the most extreme mountain bikers on the planet. Riders on the edge of disaster. A race where legends are made. Two at a time, head to head. Riders utilizing gravity, pure speed, endurance, and strategy. Strive to win mountain biking's most outrageous event. From Mammoth Mountain, California, it's the Reebok Eliminator. Brought to you by Reebok, who reminds you that on Planet Reebok, there are no limits. And presented by Mountain Dew. The morning light is dawning on the high Sierras for one of the world's great sporting events. Hello again, everybody. I'm Peter Graves, happy to be with you at the Reebok Eliminator mountain bike race at Mammoth Lakes, California. You know, this is an incredible event. Speeds of 60 miles an hour for our competitors as they careen down. I'm standing at 11,000 feet with Dave Cullinan, the former champion of this event. And Cully, I got to ask you, why does somebody do this, and how do you do well in a competition like this?
Well, Peter, the keys to winning the Reebok Eliminator are simple. There's two major factors. One is going to be endurance. A rider's going to have to make several runs down the hill against a competitor with a lot of sprinting. And second is knowing your competitor, knowing who you're going up against and what type of rider he is. Is someone that you think you can beat at the top of the mountain and lead him all the way to the bottom, or are you going to try to beat him right before the finish?
The sides are just like falling off the World Trade Center. It is awesome. Cully, who's going to be good in this competition? Who do we look for in the men?
Well, in the men's class, we're going to have two favorites. I think Myles Rockwell, the returning champion, and also the World Cup champion from last year, Jürgen Binneke, are both here. Both are going extremely fast.
All right, and how about the women's competition, world class?
Women's competition is going to be a little simpler. Kim Sonier has been so dominant, I got to go with Kim. But there's a strong European contingent with Italians Giovanna Bonanzi and Germany's Regina Stiefel. It's going to be a good event.
And here's a look at the early rounds of competition.
Well, last year the race was an unknown for me, so I just sort of kicked ass, not knowing what to do in each round. This year I kind of know what I'm supposed to do, so it's more nerve-wracking.
The early round of 32 separated the men of today from only the hopefuls. Some of the interesting matchups included last year's surprise star, England's Jason McRoy, who's known for his attacking style. But Darren Henderson had a blown-out rear wheel, ended his hopes for glory.
The strategy is going to come big towards the end, so we'll see who's got the brains and the legs.
Ready?
This year's field is spiced with international stars, and Spain's Tommy Misser stayed just ahead of national downhill champ Greg Herbold to advance.
He's really fast in some sections, really fast, but I want to work him. He's a good guy to ride with, too.
Iron Horse's Toby Henderson drew the crowd-favorite Earthquake Jake Watson from Team Marin, and perhaps it was the experience of the veteran Henderson that made the difference this day. In the men's round of 16, we saw Schwinn's Chris O'Driscoll edge out a win in a close match with Kelly Lee aboard his Yeti. And Eric Palmquist, riding a foe's downhill bike, had to squeeze by Specialized rider Todd Tanner. Head-to-head, you take your chances, and sometimes you go down.
I come around a turn, and I pass Todd. He sees me, looks over, he goes like that, bumps me the other way. I had the inside turn, he takes me, he puts me in the hay bales, and then it's unbelievable.
By the time Todd Tanner finds his bike, Eric Palmquist has advanced to the next round. The women's competition began with 16 of the top downhill riders in the world. Last year's Reebok Eliminator champ and pre-race favorite Kim Sonier drew KHS's Sherry Elliott in the first round, but had mechanical problems.
I'm really disappointed. You know, after winning the Kamikaze, I thought I had a good chance of winning this thing today. And, you know, this is the first time I've ever gotten out in the first round. It's kind of painful.
Perhaps the most interesting matchup was between two of the top international downhillers. Last year's Reebok Eliminator runner-up, Regina Stiefel, and Italy's Giovanna Bonanzi. Both are incredibly strong, but the dual format adds the challenge of head-to-head competition to an already fast course. And it was Stiefel who continued her winning way. The Reebok Eliminator course is just plain scary. You just can't imagine how frightening it can be. To give us a closer look, here's the '92 Reebok Eliminator champion, Dave Cullinan.
As the gate pops open, acceleration is maybe a bit of a problem with those 60-tooth chainring, but that's going to change here in a second. You're going to come to a big drop-off, a blind left-hand corner, but you got to stay in the groove. Swing out wide, it's going to be gravel for breakfast. Scotty's turn, heavy braking here and then back up to speed, sprinting up as fast as you can. If you're drafting your rider, one problem is going to be is you can't see blind potholes such as this Jimmy Kite 92 trying to pass me. Through the speed trap, riders come into a series of blind switchbacks, left and right-hand corners, followed by a real tough right-hand corner leading this. If you got to stay inside, get out wide in the sand, all you're going to do is crash. On the freeway section now, off the big drop-off, this is where a rider's really going to think about where to win the race. He's got a choice. He's going to make the push now or save it for the last corner. The racing is tight and so is the competition. If you're lucky enough to make it out of this corner alive, then it's a mad sprint to the finish line.